right, Andy. We have been working with you and for you for, this is my 17th year. Kyle is on year 15.
Long time, brother.
Really long time, dude. This has been a long time coming. We're excited to be here, man. Thanks for sitting down with us.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I should have fired you guys back in the beginning.
Hey, why you got to say you guys?
Well, not Kyle.
Yeah,
Definitely
Jeff. You know what I'm saying?
We were wondering how long it was going to be.
Yeah.
Less than 30 seconds.
The first question I was going to ask, how many times have you tried to fire Jeff?
I don't know. I think it was more empty threats than it was actual reality. Yeah. You know, Jeff's like that little brother that just pisses you the fuck off. And then,
I know.
And then, like an hour later, you're like over it.
Yeah. He does.
He knows that too. He uses it to his advantage. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, the older I get, the more honest and truthful that is for me to know that.
Yeah.
Like, me and Kyle now have had people that have worked for us now for close to 8 years, and it's weird to see the dynamics of people that kind of like mirror our characters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As far as like the come up, the growth of the company. And when you're early on in the stages of the growth of your business, you're working really close hand in hand with these people. And as you zoom out and, you know, get bigger and bigger, you start to see like the same character traits and you're like, oh man, I was the worst. I made your life really hard.
Yeah, dude. You know, like it's, you know, an employee dynamic is different than an ownership dynamic. And, you know, you often forget, you know, both obviously when you're an owner too, you forget the employee's perspective sometimes, and sometimes they forget the ownership perspective, and it's you know, it's tough, man. You just got to keep in mind that everybody's standing on their own mountaintop, seeing things the way that they see it, and you got to find a way to bridge those gaps. You know,
I think that the hardest thing, like, or what I've learned the most, you know, that you used to say to us and teach us was about perspective. And the hard thing about perspective, or trying to teach perspective to an employee, is like the biggest lesson is you actually have to go through it, right? So it's
touch the stove.
I think a lot of people that, you know, are our employees now, you know, when I think back on conversations that you and me had in the past, I'm like, that's what he was trying to say. Yeah. And now I'm trying to say that to people you know, now, but it just seems tough, you know.
Well, it's just, you know, it's coming up, dude. It's a skill set. You know, you have a certain skill set when you're working in the business. You have a certain skill set when you're working on the business. And yeah, you can't understand that unless you understand both, right? And I think that's that's what makes an operator or a leader or someone who is running an organization effective. You know, how can they bridge that gap between what they know, knowing that the other guys don't really understand the perspective that you're speaking from? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think it's the most challenging thing in business is to run a team, because you're dealing with multiple personalities. You're dealing with, you know, personal issues that affect people at work, which is a reality, whether you want to say it is or not. You know, people can say, oh, well, I don't bring that to work. No, you do. Everybody does. We all do. Yeah. And, you know, it's just human dynamics, man. It's a hard thing to navigate and become an expert at. And I think it's a lifelong learning process. I don't think it's something that we ever get, you know, mastered. You know what I mean?
As this company's grown, I mean, when we started, I mean, I know when I started, it was like 15 employees total, you know, and we're at 500 plus now, right? Yeah. What's been the biggest challenge on managing a bigger team like this comparatively to whenever we were getting started?
Well, obviously when it was just like us, you know, in our tight group, it was different, because I could say, hey, Kyle, I need you to do this. Hey, Jeff, I need you to do this. Hey, Mike, I need you to go do this. And it would just go get done, right? And now it's the same thing for me, where I'm talking to a select 8 to 10 individuals, but then they have to go and bring that information to their teams effectively, and then coach their teams on whatever that is effectively, which is a whole different challenge in itself. So, you know, adding another layer in there, if you're not effective at training and keeping everything on standard, you know, you get the game of telephone, you know, where you say one thing, then it gets translated a different way. And so sometimes the outcome doesn't happen as sharp or as quick as you would want it to when you have a smaller team. And then also when you have a smaller team, it's more fun. I mean, that's just reality. You know, you get to hang out with the guys, like, you know, all the things that we used to get to do together. You know, all the barbecues, all the parties, maybe a couple strip clubs here and there. You know what I'm saying? But that shit doesn't happen
wasn't
anymore.
there, dude.
None of us did that.
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
None of us did that.
Well, I don't know. I can't remember. I plead the fifth.
It was way before.
I don't know who was there.
All of that was way before Emily and way before these ladies anyway.
That was
way before.
I don't even know if that actually happened.
Yeah. I knew we were getting big as a company when I showed up at your farm once and somebody handed me a waiver. Somebody I didn't know was like, sign this waiver. I'm like, holy shit, dude, we're getting pretty big.
Dude, you know why we did that was because Kevin McAndrew almost killed himself on my fucking four-wheeler. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, that
happened a couple times.
This isn't good. Yeah.
I can be liable for this? Oh, shit.
I didn't even think about it. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, we should probably think of that.
Yeah.
The alcohol policy is also a good story. We can't name,
that was
El Ghosto Chris Klein told me I should not name the name of who was riding on my golf cart.
Yeah.
But when they fell off, we are no longer allowed to drink at company events and not sign that waiver first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some dude fell off my golf cart 15 years ago, guys. And, it was his own fault. Anyways. He crushed. He was just doing double vodkas of Grey Goose at Zan nightclub where Kyle worked in Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah, dude, it's you know, it's different, and I'm not saying it's a different kind of fun. I don't want to say it's more fun because as you mature, you don't like doing that shit anymore anyway.
Right.
So like, what I really like about where things are now is that we have an opportunity to scale into mainstream, and you know, all the things that we talked about for so many years. Building these guys' careers, giving them an opportunity to actually go out and achieve their dreams, doing something that's cool and impactful, and you know, getting to come in here every day. You know, I'm in a position now where I get to come in and you know, I walk on the floor and I talk to the guys and consult with them and coach them and, you know, be a little bit of a mentor to them. And I like that. That's what I like about business. Yeah. You know, all those millions of conversations that we all had. That was always my favorite part, you know, and then getting to contribute to the ideas that, you know, then you build it and it goes out there in the world and it either works or it doesn't. I like that too. So, you know, it's fun now. It's just not like the young guy fun.
Yeah,
you know the come up, man.
Yeah, it's there's more fulfillment, I think, because we have bigger opportunity, but it's just a different thing, man.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, and now like me and him are basically kind of going through that on a miniature scale right now where it's like we have, you know, our guys like Bob who just went and opened Tulsa for us.
Yeah.
We have Freddie who's got, you know, he just had a kid.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is so much more fulfilling than anything else is watching guys, you know, off of ultimately decisions we made a long time ago, off of decisions you made a very long time ago, have built a life around an idea that, you know, we've basically believed in for such a long time. It's just, it's cool. It's cool to watch it all kind of go full circle.
Dude, and I think you guys are probably learning now that you have, you know, good traction and a big team and you're doing all these things, the responsibility that falls on your shoulders for these guys.
Yeah.
You know, people don't understand that. They don't understand what it feels like to actually bear the responsibility of other people's livelihoods and other people's progress and other people's success in life.
Yeah.
You know, and so like, you know, back in the day when I was fucking get pissed at you guys, you know, you guys are probably realizing now why, you know what I mean? Cause I'm trying to get you guys in a position where you can go out and do what you're doing now.
Bro, it's in the last year, I would say it's felt that, you know, more than ever.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
it's a heavy thing.
I need to be a good leader, not should I or should I not?
Yeah.
Have to.
Yeah. It's not about you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. People ask me, because you're so prominent now, people be like, oh, you worked for Andy? I was like, yeah, I was a direct report for Andy for a long time.
For years.
And they'll be like, what was working for him like? And I'm like, dude.
The ultimate question we get the most. Yeah.
And I'm like, one, he's as intense as he is on his podcast. I've seen him fucking 10 times more intense than that.
For sure.
And two, I wouldn't be where I'm at unless that intensity was applied to me.
Yeah.
I was one of the people, there's people that you kind of, that fold under that shit.
Yeah.
And then there's people that need that shit.
Yeah.
And I was that person that needed it.
Yeah.
I was the person that when you fucking put the fire under my ass, if you didn't do that, I would have fell back down to the fucking, the median of who people are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But with that fire, it fucking took me to a different level.
Yeah.
And you were the first person that was like, hey dude, you can actually own your own business. And I'd never been told that before. My whole life I was in the fucking, I was in the you go to school, you get the fucking job, you do this, you do that. And nobody like had pulled me aside and said, hey dude, you can fucking, you can be as successful as you want. You're the first person to tell me that. So I wanted to say thank you for that, man, because you can completely change my life. But getting back to what it was like working for you, that's the thing that I always tell people is like, going back to what you were saying, when you have to kind of like tell what kind of person people are, it's like now I get why you did that to me, because having an athletic background, you had an athletic background, people respond differently when, people are up your ass, when your boss is up your ass, because it's like a challenge to them.
Yeah,
for
sure, dude.
And you were the first person that challenged me in a fucking huge way when it came to work.
I think that's what our culture is ultimately like. I think it's like being on a very competitive sports program.
Yeah.
When people say, well, what's it like to work there? I'm like, bro, if you think you're going to come here and just have a job, it ain't for you, dude. Just don't do it. And I think I've chilled out a little bit over the years. I've learned that I can get my point across without having to do that, but still, it's still required sometimes. It is what it is.
Yeah, but it's also like I'd never met anybody in my life who wanted to win like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like when you find somebody that wants to win like that, you're like, this motherfucker's going to win.
Yeah.
And I want to be there to win with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I think you get around the people that have made it, in the exec level around the company. I think everybody has the same shared quality of, and I would say is you hate to lose more than you like winning.
Yeah. Well, that's because we expect to win.
Exactly. It's
There's
like
an expectation of winning.
If
it's
I
like
feel
playing football at fucking Georgia.
Yeah.
They expect to win. Like winning, we are winning. That's it.
If you feel any kind of like fucking something coming up, creeping up on you business wise, or like someone's coming at you, it's just like it turns on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's a very common trait amongst everybody here, and that's something that like at times I wish you look around like what's going on with college sports right now, and big names like Nick Saban stepping down and stuff. They're all talking about how this generation's they're just becoming softer and softer. Eric Bieniemy's the former Chiefs offensive coordinator. He went on to the Commanders, and the whole team at the Commanders, they suck. I mean, they're never winning, right? Chiefs have won Super Bowls, and all the players were complaining that Eric Bieniemy's too hard on them. And it's like, are you seeing any of that with the new hires here at all, or just people that are applying maybe?
No, not really, because I think we're one of those sanctuaries for people that are built that way, and they recognize it from the outside.
You fucking hope.
Yeah, a lot of people come from listening to my show, and they kind of know what they're going to get. They want to win. They want to build a career. They want to do something special. They want to impact people. They want to help people. They understand it's going to be a lot harder than working at, fucking Joe Blow's fucking cell phone store. You know what I'm saying? Like, they get that. And I think people are tired of that shit. I think people are tired of, political correctness. I think they're tired of mediocrity. I think they're tired of being made to feel that it's not okay to win, and that it's morally inferior to want more and be ambitious and want to build things. And honestly, I think what's going on in the world makes our job of recruiting and hiring much easier, because the winners want to come here and the losers don't want to come here. And so, and to the generation thing, I don't know. I think there's like a revolution happening in the Gen Z population. I don't think it's
divisive.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of really hungry wannabe killers in that generation that get lumped in with these soft people, and I don't necessarily, dude. Remember, they said the same shit about millennials. You know what I'm saying? They say the same shit about every young generation. They're like, oh, these kids are worthless. Now,
so entitled.
Now these fuckers are a little weird. Okay, let's be real. but at the same time, they're still there. The competitive, driven, ambitious people that want to win and build and create and contribute, those guys are still there. They're just getting overshadowed by how fucking weird the other side of it is. You know what I mean? So I don't really think that that's a problem. and if sometimes when those people do sneak in, they find their way out pretty quick because they're like, dude, it's just too much for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's okay, dude, because that's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like wanting to be in a competitive environment, wanting to be at a high level. Some people just want to live their lives and they earn a living so that they can live their lives. And I think we're a mission-based operation. Most of the people here are here for the mission. And, not everybody's built for that. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. Like, I don't know. I used to take it personally. Like when people, like when people would like give up or quit or go do, I'd be like, man, fuck that guy. But like, I don't feel that way anymore. Now I've kind of come to understand, like, look, man, everybody's got to live their lives and everybody has their own idea of what their life should be. And there's no point in dragging people along down a path that they're never going to feel comfortable on. And I found it a lot better to just support those people and try to help them find a place where they're going to be comfortable and happy. You know what I mean? Do you have a story that was like a pinpoint time when that happened for you? Or did that just kind of evolve over time for you? Like
it was after I tried to quit.
Yeah. I would say like I had one of those moments. I believed in you.
That's why I didn't want you to quit. I knew what you could do.
That honestly, so that's came up on this podcast a couple of times because it was such a pivotal point in my life. It was, and it's something I talk to my employees about now too, because it's like, dude, I know what it's like to want to quit. I know what it's like to fucking quit, to just basically be there mentally.
Yeah.
And, because of what you did for me and basically stepping up and being like, don't be retarded, like you're making a huge mistake. And, you're going through it. Everyone goes through it. I've been through it a million times. You've been through it worse than me.
No, it's not worse. Dude, it's all relative.
Yeah.
I mean, to fucking think that like there's not days where I get up and I'm like, fuck. Like, dude, that's
You posted about it on your story yesterday.
Yeah.
Where it's talking about wins. Yeah. It's like your biggest wins are not, the ones that people see and thank you for. The biggest wins are the ones where you want to fucking kill yourself instead of doing something, but you get up and you do it anyways.
Yeah, that's right, dude. And people don't talk about those wins.
Yeah.
They only talk about the wins that are celebrated by the public. They talk about the wins that are easily seen or recognizable, the pay raise, the car, the house, the awards, the recognition, the winning the contest. Those are the celebrated wins, but the important wins are the wins where you would rather fucking die than to move another step forward, and you keep going anyway, because without that, none of the other shit happens.
Yeah.
So people need to remember that, dude. Like if you're going through a hard time and you're wanting to cash in and you're wanting to quit and do something else and start over or just fucking quit altogether, or, fucking maybe quit life. You have to remember that those are tests, dude. And like when you pass those tests, you get stronger and you gain more skill and you gain more perspective, and it allows you to move forward from that point, and oftentimes, bro, nobody ever knows about those wins. Nobody ever knows those times where you're just like, fuck this, dude. And then you calm down, you get collected and you keep moving,
When you get around people that have accomplished a lot, you know what I'm saying? When you walk in a room with people that have accomplished a lot, do you feel like, without it saying a word, those things that Kyle's talking about are more or less what's required to get there?
Yeah.
So you just have that mutual respect.
Yeah,
it's
everybody
a fraternity.
knows.
Yeah,
dude.
No one talks about the car you bought or this. It's like, bro, I know exactly what you had to go through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a massive level of understanding and respect once you are recognized for your accomplishments in business. Everybody who's built something, everybody who's done something, they all get it, dude. And if they don't get it, that means that they came on quick and they're probably going to go off.
That lesson's going to be learned eventually.
Yeah, exactly. I think grittiness, toughness, perseverance, resilience are highly, highly underrated qualities of anybody who's going to build anything. This idea that we all see on the internet every day that, it's going to be easy, or you're going to be a millionaire in fucking 12 months by buying this program or this or that. It's very damaging to culture because it paints a false reality of what it actually takes. And then we have all these young people who decide that this is what they want to do. They want to go become a millionaire in 12 months. And when it doesn't happen, they try another way. And then when that doesn't happen, they try another way. And then when that doesn't happen, they try another way. And before they know it, they're 10 years in with nothing to show for it, when in reality, had they stuck it out, they'd actually be somewhere. And so it makes people believe that they're a failure, when in reality, the concept that they've been sold on is flawed from the get-go. I don't know anybody who's gone from zero to success in a very short amount of time that didn't lose it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Eventually.
Those lessons have to be learned.
Yeah.
Right. Some people that inherit a bunch of money.
Yeah.
They don't know what it took. They don't pay the price.
Yeah, bro. Even the NFL guys, these guys that retire from the NFL and they have all this money coming in and they have all this success and they never learn management skills, or, you know, they're paying for their entourage and they've got 15 fucking cars, and, you know, they don't understand that, like, when that money turns off, dude,
what's next? What's your plan?
You better have some kind of reoccurring money.
Yeah, and so those skills of managing that are acquired along the slow path of gaining success. You know what I'm saying? So if you didn't go down the path, you didn't learn the skills. So if it comes quick, it's going to go quick because you simply just don't have the skills to manage it.
Mm-hmm. I had this conversation with our team last week. I was like, you know, who here made a bunch of money on crypto, you know, a few years ago? Yeah. Does anybody really know shit about crypto? And they're like, no. I'm like, yeah, you got lucky. It's called beginner's luck.
Yeah.
Like, you don't actually know anything about the whole spectrum of it. You got lucky in the beginning. The longer you play the game, the faster you're going to lose.
Yeah.
We're all going to you're going to get exposed by the people that know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sit at a poker table. You get an awesome hand. Eventually, all those poker players, they're going to be sharks.
That's right.
And it's the same in business long term. As, you know.
You were one of the first persons. So, like, before social media was even a thing, really, you were like, to our entire company, you're like, you guys should be reading books. Here's some books to read. And it was the first person outside of college that was like telling me to read books. I remember thinking, like, all right, I guess we should read. And
not everybody was posting on social every day the books they were reading.
No one was flexing that they're reading on social media. But one of those books was a story of Zappos, and it made me really admire the story of their come up. You have any businesses that are in, you know, different markets that, you know, you see like Zappos now that you have a lot of admiration for?
I think Zappos was pretty unique, dude. I think they care about their culture. They care about their employees. You know, Tony Hsieh passed away a few years ago, and that really sucked because he was sort of the glue of what they did there. In terms of companies that have that kind of culture, I mean, outside of Phorm and S2, I don't really know that I can pinpoint one. You know, Harley Davidson has an awesome culture amongst their customers.
Yeah.
You know, and there's some that I'm probably not thinking of, but they definitely were an innovative company in employee culture. And then basically
Nordstrom's too.
Nordstrom's is good. Yeah,
I mean, as far as internal culture versus customer experience,
I don't see a lot of new companies doing it at all. No. I see new companies just building a label, you know, running e-com funnels or doing, you know, distribution deals through chain retail or club retail. And what they're not understanding by doing that is that they're not building any value equity in their brand. And eventually when they go to sell their brand or exit their brand, it's not going to be worth as much because they don't really have anything but the label.
Yeah.
So
people aren't loyal.
Not a lot of loyalty.
No, yeah. And so, I don't know. I'd have a hard time. I mean, I'm not trying to be braggadocious, but I mean, I don't think anybody does it better than us. I really don't.
Well, I want to talk to you about some like pivotal moments in the company's history, that like decisions that you had to make that we had no wherewithal as far as how difficult those decisions were. And, you know, as we get older, the more appreciation we have, more respect we have for them. At one point, a lot of people don't know this, but we had an old headquarters that was completely decked out S2. We were planning on franchising. This is in 2012, I would like to say. But it was in 2013, I believe it was the Olympia in 2013 where you went and you came back with like, we're pivoting.
Yeah.
And you had invested, you know, probably millions of dollars as far as the expansion of S2. Our whole headquarters was branded, labeled as such. How hard was that decision for you and Chris to make, to be like, dude, we're going to have to put a pause here and step on the gas over here on Phorm?
It wasn't hard because I could see the upside to Phorm and I could see what we were doing, and I understood what was happening on social media a little bit, and I saw an opportunity for us to do something that no one else was doing at that time, which was to build a network of what you would call now today, like almost like affiliates, a direct level of affiliates. We call them Legionnaires, that no one was doing. Nobody back then was taking regular people and giving them an opportunity to make money on social media. That wasn't a thing. And we were one of the very first companies to do that. And I realized that we could scale that much faster, and then we would be able to, reinvest that money into scaling out S2, and that would be a faster route to get where we were trying to go. So it wasn't that hard. I didn't think about it like, oh shit, we invested all this money. I thought about it like, okay, well, we do have this built, but this is going to be a faster path for everybody.
But you guys took I got to give you all kinds of credit, because at the time there was many brands that were trying to do ambassadors, right, in quotes, and there was no value in it. They were giving people 20% off or whatever, and they weren't. There wasn't any kind of support for those ambassadors. I mean, I remember the first Legionnaire binder. It was that leather, beautiful portfolio. I mean, you guys built so much value in the Legionnaire program to be one that it made it really special, and I felt like that was like the change. Did you notice the negative impact on the brands whenever they were just willy-nilly about throwing out ambassadors, and that's why you guys put so much value behind it? Because there was a lot of money invested in the Legionnaire program before you even had proof of concept.
No, I don't really worry about what other people do. I mean, that's still the case for most companies, right? Most companies just have an ambassador program, and they offer some sort of spiff to sell their shit. I don't concern myself with that. You guys know this. Our priority has always been to actually help people, to actually get them results. And that's what's made our brand work. It's always at the core of the brand, both S2 and First Phorm. And so when we came up with the Legionnaire program, it was, how do we actually get these people to help other people get results? And so we've invested, our training program for Legionnaires is fucking insane. It's so in depth that a lot of them don't even want to go through it because it's so comprehensive. And I feel like that's just the right thing to do. I think if you're going to have people out selling your product, they should know about your product. They should use your product. They should believe in your product, and they should believe in sharing the message and helping other people get results. And so that was the basis of why we put so much behind our education, and still do. We'd probably have a lot more independent reps if we didn't do that, but I don't think they would be as effective at actually helping people get real results.
It certainly would be helping the brand.
No, it was a culture thing.
Right.
It was a hey, what do we do? Why are we doing this? What do we stand for? And we believe that was the right way. So that's what we did. And it's inefficient. It's harder. It costs us a lot more money to do it that way. But I ultimately feel like that's how it should be, right? Like, you shouldn't just have people just selling shit if it's something that people are putting in their body to try and produce a result. You should have people that can educate people, help people, that care about actually producing a result. I believe that that's the backbone of our entire operation.
Our saying that we stole from you is to take pride in your inefficiencies.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if it takes more time, that's where the value is.
Yeah, usually. Yeah.
That's what made me start working for the company originally was, Mike Taylor's like, bro, you need to get on here because, look at this information. It's not like we're just trying to, huck some product. We're actually like trying to educate people and make sure that they're buying good products and what to look for in products and what effective ingredients are. And I always thought that was so different, than any place else that I'd ever been. You talked about the buckle on your last podcast, and it was like, yeah, that's most fucking places that I'd ever been to up until that point.
Yeah.
Was just people trying to sell you shit.
Yeah, but don't you think that that's why there's so much turnover in the companies? I mean, you guys have been in this for 15, 17 years. How many companies have you seen come and go that come, get hot, and then fucking 2 years later, they're nowhere to be found?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's easy to make a brand hot for a year.
Yeah.
It's hard to be hot for 12, 13, 14, 15 years straight.
In the supplement industry especially, it seems like
and that comes
actually unheard of.
Yeah. It's never happened.
Never happened.
Yeah. And so that comes from actually giving a shit about people. That's what I think that's the backbone of it.
Yeah.
You, as far as personal development goes, we talked about a little bit earlier about, you know, the come up and like how fun it is when you're close to it. Are you experiencing that again with your personal brand?
In what way?
Well, it's like, dude, you know what? You once texted us, I believe it was after you went to one of Grant Cardone's speaking events in Vegas. And like you had a fucking holy shit, I made it moment of, I just talked to like 20,000 people at once. They're fucking giving you a standing ovation. It's like, was that a different kind of made it moment than, for example, like the first time you guys hit 20 grand in a day at S2s, or first time you guys hit?
I don't think, dude, you guys know me, dude. I expect to win. I don't celebrate. Like, I don't think,
we know that. We know that.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah. I don't think of it like that. Like,
yeah.
If I go and speak, or if my podcast is ranked number 1, like that's what I expected. That's just what I expect to happen. So, and I'm not saying that from an arrogant standpoint. It's just how I think about things. Like if I'm going to do something, I want to be the best. If I'm going to speak, I want to be the best speaker. If I'm going to run a podcast, I want to be the best. If I'm going to run a company, I want to be the best. And that's just something that it's wired in me. And you know, I don't know. It's just there. You know what I mean? And so like when I wouldn't say that I've ever had any of those moments, because I'm not where I want to be still. Like I'm not even close to it. So like, I don't look at what we've done and think like, holy shit, look what we've done. That's not what I think. I think, fuck dude, we've just started.
What's success look like with your personal brand? Is it swaying the American public at this point?
Yeah, culture, dude.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's about bending culture the right way.
Yeah.
You know, it's about helping people understand that they have a role and they have a responsibility and they have an obligation in what's going on. You know, for so long, even entrepreneurs, for the most part, you know, we've kept our heads down and we've run our businesses and we've done our things, and we've sort of taken our eye off the ball of what culture is supposed to be. And instead of actually trying to fix it or help it, we've all just said, well, fuck, dude, culture sucks. You know, these kids ain't no good, blah, 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 blah. Well, dude, it's our responsibility to fix that. And, you know, every single human being out here that's a citizen of this country, in my opinion, has an obligation to play a role in that. There are millions of people who have died over the course of the history of our country to give us the opportunity to do what we do. And if we don't do that thing and we don't exercise our own potential, we're violating and disrespecting that sacrifice, in my opinion. And, you know, when we talk about what will actually fix things, it's not some sort of revolution. It's not some sort of violence. It's because you could do that, and then what's it going to be like tomorrow? What's it going to be like the day after that? It's going to go right back to the same shit. And so when we think about what the solution is for our country, it's a better culture. It's a culture of personal responsibility. It's a culture of personal excellence. It's a culture of being every single thing that is the opposite of what we're propagated to be in society at this time, which is, you know, mediocre, unhealthy, scrolling zombie. You know, they want us fat. They want us sick. They want us consuming their data and their food that's filled with a bunch of shit. They want us to be out of shape. They want us poor. And it's our job to stand up and be all, you know, they want us hating each other. They want us angry at each other. We have to do the opposite of all of those things. And that's a personal thing that we all have to take responsibility for, because if we take responsibility for it personally, it creates a ripple effect that starts in our little network, you know, maybe in your house and your family and your neighborhood and your job and your community, that ripples outward, because maybe not everybody follows your lead, but there'll probably be 2 or 3, and those 2 or 3 will probably inspire 2 or 3 more. And now we've got a ripple effect of cultural change.
Loyalty circle.
Yeah, that's happening.
Culture.
That's happening out in the world, right? Yeah. And dude, that's what's actually going to change things. So, you know, I try to do the show, talk about current events, talk about, mix it in with some personal development, you know, mix it in with some comedy, and try to, you know, make a change in culture. And I mean, when I switched formats from MFCEO Project, which was the #1 entrepreneur podcast in the world, to current events, everybody fucking laughed at me. And guess where we are? Guess where we rank today?
1.
#1. Guess where I was ranked in all categories today? number 25 in fucking the world. Okay, so fuck you.
I thought it was a good move.
That's a good mic drop.
Yeah. Well, everybody's like, well, stick to what you're good at.
Bro, when we were doing this, we're getting ready for this podcast. I just told these guys, I go, honestly, I was like, this is harder to come up with questions than I thought it would be, because I'm like, before there ever was a podcast.
Can't ask all the good ones?
No, I wasn't going to say that. I was like, before the podcast, I listened to hundreds of hours of meetings.
Yeah.
And then the podcast came, and then I fucking listened to 1,000 hours of it. So it's like, I pretty much know
your
his opinion on a lot of shit.
People ask us what you would say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's we're nothing but like a megaphone of the message you've been giving us for so many years. I think
authenticity, that kind of goes into the thing that you were talking about on your podcast you released on Friday. We were talking about authenticity. When back in 2013, when you basically made the pivot in saying, hey, social media is going to be a big driver behind the company. It took a lot for, most of the company at that point weren't huge on social media. And a lot of people basically, including myself for probably a couple of posts, or maybe more than a couple, just basically took what you were doing and being like, I'm going to be a little Andy. I'm going to try and repeat exactly what he's saying. And, I think that it taught me a lot about like, wait, I'm not fucking Andy, dude. Like, I need to just be myself. It's really easy to, especially when somebody's seen success at it, which you were fucking blowing up at the time, and even before that, we were talking the other day about the social media posts you used to write on Facebook. Like those were the first like MFCEO project, back in like 2011. Those were gold too. I used to reshare them, and they would get, they come back up like 10 years ago. This is what Andy Frisella said. And I was like, those are still fucking golden, man.
Yeah.
We're actually resharing them on our Instagram page because of it.
Really? That's cool.
Reusing some of those captions. Well, dude, it's from like 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
I remember you, used to be, I believe, Andrew J.
Yeah.
Which is, you're still on my phone as that.
Yeah.
On Facebook. And I remember you starting to post success statuses, right? And I remember texting you and being like, dude, these are fucking great.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, I wonder if anybody even fucking reads this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
When I first started that shit, everybody made fun of me, dude. Like, I had all my family and
crabs in the bucket.
Yeah, bro. People being like, "Oh, what are you trying to be? Not Tony Robbins?" You know what I'm saying?
You're like, fuck yeah, motherfucker.
Yeah, no shit. What's not cool about Tony Robbins?
You're like, I'm fucking motivating my 15 employees. I was like, let's go.
I read the book and I am awakening the giant within. What do you got a problem?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good, man.
That's how people are, though, man. People get disturbed when they see people elevating and they see people progressing, and it reminds those people of what they're not doing, and they don't like it, and they're afraid they're going to lose you, which they are, because they decide not to appreciate the path that you're on and what you're doing. I mean, some people you just got to cut from the team, dude. It's just reality. Sports organizations make cuts all the time. You should treat your life the same way. If someone's not contributing, if someone's not, now this is for the ambitious individual. If you're just going to cruise through life, it's different. But when you're trying to build things and do things that are abnormal, it takes all your energy. So you can't afford any energy leaks with people that are negative or going to hold you back. And that's something that I think people need to become more comfortable with, which is, making cuts occasionally,
The bigger your goals, the more you recognize that energy leak like you're talking about.
Yeah, for sure, man. Because you just don't have any to spare.
Yeah.
You grew up, I know you said that you had loved Tony Robbins growing up. You also read a lot of Seth Godin books, I remember. Yeah. Who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of personal development?
I'd put my dad up there for sure as one of them. I think Tony Robbins, I think Tony Robbins has helped more people than probably anybody. He's been doing it the longest. I think a lot of the guys now that people look up to, I think they got their sauce from Tony, you know what I mean? And that's what inspired them. Man, I don't know. If I say any more names, bro, I'm going to piss everybody off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know all these dudes now.
That means I got a good question. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed Mylett's had some good ones.
It's good.
Well, I was that's a good segue because, you did the MFCO and you were giving out this content for free for so long.
Yeah.
Eventually you had so many people knocking down your door of like, hey, I need some more personal help.
Yeah.
And so you created Arete Syndicate. which Kyle and I are proud to be a part of. But you could have partnered with probably a lot of people.
Yeah.
What was it about Ed?
I mean, dude, I just click with him right away, and we complement each other. You know, he's been down the path of managing massive company, and he's got a different leadership style than I do. And so I was able to, work. You know, I think the best thing that Ed and I have, and you guys notice this when we do the calls, is when I answer a question and when he answers a question, it'll be two great answers from different perspectives. And I just think that that's important whenever you're making decisions, is to look from all perspectives, because very few people can comprehend and process a 360-degree perspective on their own. You know, and if you're making critical decisions about your business or your life, it's important to consider that. You know, what if I do this? What if I do that? These will be the outcomes of these two things. If I do this over here, this will be the outcome. And you have to be able to see the field without bias. And I think having Ed in Arete, I think it's invaluable because of the ability for both of us together to see the entire field.
You've worked with so many people over the years, big names, tons, and it's like the relationship you've had with Ed has lasted, you know, it stood the test of time. And it's like, I can't think of many people outside of our company that's really like gotten us, right? Gotten our culture, and Ed has. And so it's honestly like remarkable to watch from afar how long that's gone, and also how much it's grown. Yeah. So it just, you know, speaks to Ed, of course.
Well, and I also think he's more, he's softer than I am in terms of how he delivers messages. He's not softer than me. He's softer. He has more emotional IQ than me because he's been doing it longer. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I might say, hey, what the fuck, dude? You know, he's going to say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? It's like more of like a big brother or a dad type conversation where, well, I would say he comes more from a dad type conversation. I come from big brother. Like, hey, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Stop that shit. You know what I mean? And that's kind of my vibe, and his vibe is different. And, you know, people respond to those two things completely differently. You know, some people don't like the way I coach. Some people don't like the way Ed coaches, but we hit all those perspectives. I also think that it helps people learn how to take feedback in different forms when they can hear it two different ways.
I definitely subscribe to the I need to be told that I'm fucking up if I'm fucking up.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? Like I need the harsh.
Yeah,
for sure. Else I'm not listening.
That's how we grew up, man. That's how my dad treated us. That's how Sal and I treat each other. I think it's just better to get right to the point, not waste any time. And I think if you have a good enough relationship where people understand that you have good intentions for them, you care about them, you want them to win, I think that's an effective way to communicate. You know, but if you do that shit without the intention being right, meaning if you and I don't have a good rapport where you are uncertain if I actually have your best intentions, then that kind of conversation doesn't work very well, right? It works in a way where it's like
gets personal. Real
you're
fast,
like, hey, fuck this guy, you know. But if if you know that your leadership has the best intentions for you, I think you can have a more direct conversation, which saves a lot of time.
Yeah, you know, that's one of the best leadership.
People don't care what you know until they know you care.
Yeah, right.
One of the best leadership, you know, lessons you ever taught me was nice is honest.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because when I was early on in my manager, I mean, any manager early on, you want people to like you.
Yeah.
And I started realizing that, like, no, the nicest thing to do to people is be fucking honest with them. Be honest and upfront with them. And like you said, as long as there's the background of, you know, knowing them knowing that you care about them, then you can be as honest as you want with them.
Yeah, dude. If you truly care about someone, you're going to tell them the truth so they can fix their stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's not a mystery. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I've never had a problem really communicating in that way. And I know a lot of people do. A lot of people have a hard time being direct. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if that's like worked out of people through the school system or what, but it might have, because when I was in school, bro, I was always in trouble. You know, they weren't able to get it out of me. You know, so I don't know, but I just feel like you save so much more time and you get a better result by just being direct with people.
Yeah.
And then like people take it so like weirdly. It's
especially in the beginning when they first meet.
yeah,
You.
like
Jeff's looking at fucking Luke because Luke is the fucking brunt of.
I'm the most direct person most people have ever met.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I met Andy and he just confirmed that I was right the whole time.
Yeah.
As in like in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be just
See,
like,
I could be fucking direct.
I can just be that direct. But no, like, to your point, if you are not letting them know, hey, I have your best interest at heart, if your intent is not on, it doesn't obviously hit.
Well, you got to
it's not
show
gonna
that
land.
consistently in your behavior over time. You know, you've got to build. It's like making deposits versus withdrawals, right? Like when you are leading someone and you are making a lot of deposits and coaching them, helping them, you know, working them through maybe some personal affairs, you know, making their skill set better. And then one day you look at them and you're like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? That's a little bit of a withdrawal, but you made all those deposits and that person stops and they're like, wait, dude, I must be doing something wrong because this person cares about me a lot.
Yeah.
And then they, you know, and I feel like, you know, I mean, dude, this is not mystery shit. Like this is the way the world used to work before all the fucking pussies got in charge. I mean, real talk, dude. Like we're just talking about basic shit. Like don't step on that line, dude. I stepped on it and it fucked me up. Don't do that. You know, like I don't understand I don't understand how people, I don't know. It's just,
Bro, I got to ask you this question. So it's 2010. Me and Jeff are working in the back of Springfield North. For those who are listening, that's the original Supplement Superstores.
If you fucking stop, I already know where the story.
No, not when you were going to fire us.
Yeah,
this is a different time.
I'll tell a story.
This is a different time than when you were going to fire us.
Here's a real story.
Let's let them tell a story.
So when these two fuckers were working at the store together, they didn't like each other, and they would always bitch at each other. And like they'd call me behind the scenes about each other, and they'd be like, "Kyle's doing this, Jeff's doing this, Kyle's doing this." Don't cut this shit out either. This is true. and these motherfuckers. So I got them on the phone, and what'd I say?
If you guys don't figure your shit out, you're both fired.
That's right. I said, if I got to fire one, I'm firing you both. So you better figure it the fuck out.
Just pull that move on somebody.
Yeah.
Now we've been in business together 8 years.
That's
dude.
right.
So that worked.
Yeah, dude.
Anyways, that's not what I was going to talk about. Us,
but it is
fired.
true.
It's true.
I will say that was the only time that you really threatened to fire me, but that was just the first of many for Jeff.
Yeah, that wasn't the first.
I got an email I was going to read on here, Operation like Eagle Talon from 2011, where you're like,
fire Kyle.
No,
Get
dude,
Kyle out of there.
This is a really quick one, but I just went to. I decided at 23 years old to go.
Did I really call it Eagle Talon?
That's what Jason called it.
Okay.
Yeah, which is very Jason. Yeah, he was an Eagle Scout, but it was like
Justin Layton.
That's right, Jay Layton.
Yeah.
But he hit me up and you sent me the email and it was really just this simple. It was like, dude, you're wasting your opportunity. You just went to New Orleans to party like you were in college and you're not a college kid anymore. What are you doing? Yeah. You just left our fucking stores with brand new employees that have never helped people by themselves.
Yeah.
So you could go on a vacation.
Yeah.
He's like, you're just like, that doesn't reflect anything of, you know, and like more or less, you just called me on my shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's paying attention. Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it was like, you were the first manager I ever had. This was the first job I'd ever had. Cause I got this job at 19 for anybody that doesn't know me and just I'm listening. I was 19 years old and just didn't know shit about shit. And every job I'd had to that point was I will do what I can get away with. That was my entire mentality, right? Looking around, see what everybody else is doing, and just do that.
Yeah.
And try not to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And
it's a typical job.
Right.
Yeah.
And I always thought in my head, though, that I would be successful. And then I have this guy who's actually successful telling me, hey, dude, that's not what success looks like. And I'm like, oh. And so I just literally looked at your example always of like, all right, this is what success looks like. This is what I need to do over and over and over again. But it's like, it's funny how we were talking about back to direct conversations. Some people really just need to get rattled for the first time to recognize like, oh shit. You know, one of our guys who actually Luke's boss, Blake, he did our SSPSC, right? And he just dogged the entire thing. Didn't write in anything right. It's 170 question
read
test.
A single word of it.
170 question test, and he might as well have just fucked off the entire thing. And we call him out for it. He's 18 years old at the time. Now he's 23, has a beautiful girlfriend, house of his own. He's an adult now, right? But he took a video of himself taking his SSP and throwing it in the trash because we called him out for just being a piece of shit on the and since then he's been one of our best guys.
Well, did he get it out of the trash?
No. He redid one. He had to redo the whole thing.
All right.
But he took his piece of shit SSPSC and threw it in the trash. And he's like, dude, you guys are right. I'm sorry.
Who's this?
His name's Blake.
Blake Buchanan.
Blake
Good job,
Buchanan.
Blake.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Sorry. Back to
Anyways, 2010, Springfield North. Me and Jeff are trying to clean out the back of Springfield North because I'm sure if you guys are listening to this by now, you've heard Andy's story. They used to fucking sleep back there. So there was a goddamn couch back there and like bed and stuff. Also back there was a switchboard, a server, and a bunch of telephone lines.
What's a switchboard for our young listeners?
This was some kind of telephone switchboard, and basically come to find out you guys had analog Tinder back in the day. You know, call each other Tinder. Explain to us why this didn't work, Andy. We got to know.
Your 1-800 dating website or dating.
Was it 1-800 or 1-900?
Was it
1-900 if people are paying for it?
We just honestly, dude, we didn't have the money to promote it. That's what it came down to. You know?
Wasn't the plan to promote it through the bars? Or
yeah, but it didn't.
Work.
We didn't have any money. Like, I mean, dude, you know, if like I was able to go door to door in Springfield and meet people and talk to people and get customers because we had a product that you could sell. And so we're like, oh, dude, we're going to start this dating fucking service. And how the fuck do you walk around and sell that to people? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're probably like,
yeah.
Was it
do we
live
buy
like,
newspaper ads?
Who answers the phone? You know?
Yeah, it's so what it was before the internet. There was software that people could call in, and it would let them talk on the software without telling their numbers or their names, or it was private, right? Mm-hmm. So you guys, these young people don't remember, but there used to be like commercials on late at night. Like, there'd be some like hot chick, and she'd be like, call me up and talk to me, you know? And that's what these lines were. And dude, we were desperate to make some money. So we're like, fuck, dude, this is probably going to work. And it didn't. It didn't. It was an expensive lesson, man. We spent like 20 grand putting it together, which was all the money we had. And, you know, it was built off of advertising budget, and we just didn't have any money to advertise it. Yeah. So
I remember we were throwing it out, and Chris was like, "Man, that was fucking expensive when we bought it."
Yeah, it was.
The computer that the entire company was ran on, right, was leased. That's like how expensive computers were at the time. And I want to say this is crazy because this was just like a tower computer that you would recognize if you saw it, but it was like 17 grand or something just absolutely insane like that.
Yeah, a server.
We still have that somewhere, right?
Yeah.
It still works somehow.
No, I don't think it works.
The internet.
But I know it's back in the back.
We didn't go to any sites that would possibly put some malware or spam on that computer.
I'm sure nobody would ever do that.
Jason Kane had to lock down all the computers after that.
Yeah. So is this your admission? It was you?
Possibly.
Look at his search history. Andy, you already know, man.
Hey, we're not going to throw Chris Klein under the bus for what he was doing. But yes, we are.
Chris and Jeff are the biggest offenders for sure.
Yeah, dude. I'm not even going to deny it. Dude, we used to have a subscription to one of those magazines where you'd have like a 3-fold photo. Just 3-fold, trifold, if you will.
I think they call that Playboy.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it's probably that. But we had those hanging behind the counter. Those were the days. The original
like
counter.
Auto shop, dude. Like when I was growing up, you'd walk into like the auto stores and they'd have like naked chicks on the wall, man. Like
totally normal.
Yeah, dude. Like it was. I mean,
when it
wasn't terrible.
Yeah, when we were starting to franchise, you sent Cody Klein down to look at the stores in Springfield, and he made us throw all that kind of stuff away.
Cody did?
Yes, we're like, Cody, dude,
Cody's
come on.
Cody's ultra professional.
Yeah. We also on that same trip, this is like one of the most hilarious stories in S2 history. We told my roommate that Cody was gay, and we didn't tell Cody.
Oh, man.
And so Cody was living with my roommate, and it was like, dude, if he does this to you, if he calls you like man, he's like, what's up, man? That's what he means. He likes you. And for all those that don't know Cody,
that's what he says.
He says he only talks like that. So
up,
we really did that to him.
Oh my God.
He's like, dude, he's been calling me man all day. I'm like, dude, you better just lock your door, bro. That's all we're saying.
That is a party foul, bro.
Yeah, man. So that goes back to when the come up is tight knit, you get those stories.
Yeah.
That's like what we used to do with Chris. So if anybody who doesn't know Chris used to deliver all of our products down to Springfield for us, and he would always be super quiet. And because he was so quiet, we'd tell our new hires, we'd say, hey, man, don't look Chris in the eyes. So we'd be like, don't look him in the eyes, dude. He's mean. He will not fucking like it if you look him in the eyes.
Yeah. He's got his headphones in. It's even worse.
So our new employees. And then one time fucking Chris pulled me aside and he goes, dude, what's up with all these new people you've been hiring? They're fucking weird. And I was like, I told him, don't look at you in the eyes because you're fucking me.
All right, we're going down memory lane now. Can you tell us about, well before Summer Smash and you were putting on big parties like that, there was the parties that you threw at Jordan Creek down in Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the idea of calling up a special talent in PD Pablo and bringing him to the creek when you were like 20 years old?
Yeah, no, dude, to
call up this time, PD Pablo was the shit for everybody listening.
Dude, listen, he came and played when, what's that song?
North Carolina.
Raise Up.
Yeah.
Raise
When
Up.
that was the shit, bro.
Yeah. Or Freak a Leak.
Yeah. We had Saint Lunatics. We had Murphy Lee. We had Tech Nine. So dude, I started this thing called Frisella Promotions, which was just a little concert promotion company.
Yeah.
And I was able to scrap together a little bit of money and then work a deal out with my buddy Mark, who was running the bar. Mm-hmm. And so we would do the math and we're like, okay, we could fund the deposit for this guy. He could come do a show and then we're for sure going to be able to pay it out of the door, and we'll pay it. And then, you give me a little bit and the bar keeps the rest. And so we started doing that. And that was how I got, I would do one or two of those in the summer and it would let me to have some money for the summer and do whatever I wanted to do that summer. So
that's fucking awesome.
It was just a way for us to supplement our business, which was, not making any money.
Yeah.
And, it was cool though, because I got to meet all those guys at the height of their careers and hang out with them. And, it was just different. It was just cool. It was that's pretty cool for a fucking 19, 20-year-old
hanging
kid.
out with the biggest celebrities in music at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
The thought of Chris rolling in a Jeep Grand Cherokee with PD Pablo by themselves is just funny to me. I love it.
Chris said that PD Pablo was like, man, there ain't nothing but cows out here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's about right.
Yeah.
That's about Missouri, brother.
These dudes are at the height of their career, man. They're going to Vegas, they're rolling around in limousines and badass shit. We're picking them up in our Jeep.
Not even a 4-door.
No, fuck no, bro. It's just a fucking shitty Jeep.
Is that where you guys, when you guys decided to start doing Summer Smash, you guys were like, we need to take what we did back then and just take it to a whole nother level?
No, I made up Summer Smash on my own on a video, just randomly. And I said, because dude, we did all those barbecues with the stores.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're going to do a barbecue. And fucking all the guys were like, okay. And so I got on the internet and I was like, hey, we're doing a barbecue on this day. It's called Summer Smash. 300 people can come.
Yeah.
And I said something like, ride your lawnmower or whatever. Get here however you can. I said, and I just made a joke of it, bro. And fucking, we put the tickets up and we sold them out.
Yeah.
And we were all like,
well, shit.
Damn. And then that's how that started, dude. And then it's become this massive thing.
It's unreal because it's fun to go back to Summer Smash 1 and see, what it was versus what it is now. And it's
the cars doing donuts, shit being lit on fire. I watched Rob Bailey
motorcycles,
fucking his hands tattooed.
Rob Bailey got his fingers tatted in your office.
Yeah, yeah. It says work hard.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude. And then now, now looking back, we've had. This is 24. This is going to be 10 years, I think, this year, or maybe 9 years. Was it 15 or 14?
I think it's 10.
Yeah, I think it is 10. But we've had, we've had Nelly, Rick Ross, Chainsmokers, Aoki, fucking Pitbull. We've had some of the biggest names in the world now come play that show.
Yeah. And dude, they kill it. I mean, awesome. Some of these artists, I've never seen live.
Yeah,
bro, they all put on a phenomenal show. Awesome. It's Pleasant.
Nelly's still my favorite though.
Yeah, Nelly's sure. Because we're in St. Louis, it's just right.
It's awesome, dude, and he's such a cool dude, and he comes on and does way extra. You know what I'm saying? He's just a cool dude.
Yeah.
You guys been able to build a personal relationship?
No, not really. Sal knows him a little more than I do, but I talk to him when he comes through and we follow each other on the internet and shit. But he's out. He's very hot again. I don't know if people know that, but he's getting out there again and doing his thing and we're doing our thing. And I think there's a lot of mutual respect just from the St. Louis thing. But he's always been fucking top notch, cool as shit.
The tagline from the Lou, when we're proud, I'm sure he's got to feel good about that.
Yeah. Well, dude, Nelly's done a lot for St. Louis. You know what I mean? Nelly has done a lot for St. Louis, not just in his music, but locally. And There's a lot of local guys that, have done a lot, and he's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's a lot of mutual respect, built upon on that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would say like now you're kind of like,
but he's a fucking phenomenal entertainer, dude.
Yeah, he is.
Like seeing him live, it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great, dude.
He genuinely cares about putting on a good show at this age, and that's like he's not out there for the money.
Yeah,
he's out there because he loves doing it.
Yeah, Rick Ross was awesome too.
He was, dude.
Yeah, that was cool.
He was, dude.
But I'd say like you're kind of that dude in St. Louis now. Like when I think of St. Louis, or when I think of like people who have big platforms out of St. Louis, you've rose to that where it's kind of like the city is on your back. Do you feel that like pressure, or do you feel like there's any kind of responsibility with that? So I feel like you do a good job of like basically promoting the fucking Midwest. Like don't fucking come here. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. It's awesome. Don't come here. Yeah. I think St. Louis has a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of very successful individuals here that are working hard to make it better. It's cool to be recognized, when I go places, and by those people who have been around for a long time, been doing far more things here than I have. A lot of the people that I just heard about when I was younger, I'm now friends with. That's cool. But I think everybody's working to make St. Louis a better place. And I think we're making progress. And, it's a cool thing. I think everybody feels like if you give us another few years, dude, we're going to see some major progress in St. Louis. We've got Midtown developing. We've got the soccer team now. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of independent entrepreneurs opening up restaurants and stores and little cool things. And it has a really good culture. And it's not new like a lot of other cities where everything's new. And I kind of like that because like when you drive around, it's not just like bland, boring architecture. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
It's not just clean and brand new lines.
Is a secret, dude. Like there's a lot of really cool shit. And I think it's people that are from here are proud to be from here. And that's cool to be a part of.
Yeah. The thing that I miss about St. Louis from living here is like the different pockets and neighborhoods.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can go to a different neighborhood and it's got a totally different vibe, which in Kansas City, it's not as much like that.
Yeah. Cause everything's new.
Yeah.
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 We have,
I love Kansas City, by the way. It's one of my favorite
cities.
It's just a different vibe.
It's different.
Yeah.
But I would say like in St. Louis, I think since the Rams left, there was this black eye on the city from a national look,
Yeah.
And I would say that especially with what you guys have been doing here, with the MLS team that you mentioned already, there's a ton of civic pride. And I think that's really cool to be a part of, in the sense of watching First Phorm be so proud to be from St. Louis. There's not a lot of other brands that are being super in your face about being extremely proud to be from St. Louis. And it's just cool to see that. There's Anheuser-Busch, there's, Ted Drew's, there's these brands that we've all grew up on because I grew up in St. Louis.
Normal brand.
Yeah, Normal brand's cool.
Those guys are killing it, dude.
We love them, dude.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is
Sansone family.
Yeah,
those guys are awesome.
Yeah, we help them out in Kansas City actually quite a bit. So they're good. We love them too.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to see these local brands like being very proud to be from a St. Louis company, you know, and it's not you just don't see it as often.
What we're really
anymore.
asking is Andy, St. Louis mayor, on the way to being the president of the United States.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Just straight to the president.
Yeah.
Just go straight to president.
Yeah.
I was
straight to emperor.
I think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be an election. I think it's going to be a takeover.
There was your last speaking engagement out in Salt Lake?
Yeah.
When you did that, it was funny. I was just going through people's stories and watching their reactions and stuff, and DLB, Dana Lynn Bailey, was like, Andy for president.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, she's known you for over a decade.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to see people like that recognize like how fucking, passionate you're being towards the message, towards, just your beliefs in general.
Well,
and
man,
how
America's an awesome place, dude. It's one of the only places in the world where you have all these different cultures that come together and produce something that is, honestly superior to most of the other places. And I wouldn't say we're there right now, but over the history of this country, it's been that way. And, we need to get back to that. We need to get back to understanding, instead of attacking each other's culture and saying this culture is better than this culture and fuck these people and this and that and this. We got to stop generalizing and start treating people as individuals, holding people responsible for their individual actions, and then understanding that all the great things that have been built in this country have been built from a multicultural contribution place. And it's a shame that there's such division right now and such identity politics going on, which is intentional, by the way. You know, they want people fighting, they want people bickering, and they want people to look past the fact of all the great things that our culture has accomplished together and as a unified culture. And so, you know, that's what I want to get this place back to, you know, and the best way I can do that right now is through my show. It's because I can talk to so many people. And so that's what I try to do, you know, and if that ever leads to something else, maybe it will, maybe it won't, but I'm going to continue down that path of trying to help curve the culture into a direction that I personally feel it needs to go. Mm-hmm. You know,
your messaging, you know, since you started MFCO project, I felt like whenever you first started talking to the masses, it was coming from a place of like, nobody fucking gets this shit. Yeah. Like it was like, just, why is this so hard for people to understand? And I feel like your messaging now is more like a unifying message of like, I know you guys get it too. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is that something that you did intentionally, or is that just something involved naturally?
I think if people have been listening to my show, the majority of my audience, because I can look at the data, is a consistent listenership. You know, they listen, I do 5 shows a week. They listen to all 5 shows. So if people have listened to my show on a consistent basis, then they know.
Right.
Right. And the problem that I see in our culture is that entrepreneurs are not understanding the amount of impact that they create on our culture. And what I mean by that is most of the cultural standard that lives in people's homes comes from their work, okay? Because they spend as much time, if not more time, at their workplace in that environment than they do at home, right? So entrepreneurs have the ability to make tremendous impact by having a proper culture of meritocracy, fairness, contribution inside of their business. And for a long time, everybody's looked at everything and said, man, this is all messed up. Who's going to fix it? Well, we have to fix it. And the way that we fix it as entrepreneurs is by installing intentionally a culture within our business that reflects what the culture should look like in the world. And if we could get entrepreneurs to understand that, the change in culture could happen pretty fast, much faster than I think people would realize. And the reason it hasn't happened is because naturally small businesses and medium-sized businesses copy what big businesses do. So when they see an environment, let's say at Coca-Cola, where everything is politically correct, you know, you have all these initiatives that are anti-meritocracy, meaning the best people aren't getting the jobs. People are getting jobs for other reasons than they're the best and highest skilled people. That creates, you know, you can't speak out, you can't say anything. If you say anything, you get reported to HR. That's what creates this culture in the world. Okay, so if we want American culture to be American culture, we have to put American culture into our business first and allow our employees to take it home and live it. And that's what I try to do with our companies, is I try to represent our culture as what I would think America should be like. And then I allow that to be taken home from our people, which they do. And people have to realize that no one person, no one leader or one mouthpiece or talking head or, you know, president or politician or media person can change that. It's up to the individual to change that. They have to do that on their own. And if you don't run a company, then you have to run your household like you think America should be. And you have to let that trickle out. And there's an individual responsibility that we all have and that we all are obligated to, in my opinion, to participating in that. And there was a time in this country where people understood that there was an expectation as a citizen of the country, right? Like you guys are old enough to remember that, you know, like, hey, these men and women have sacrificed and died for us to have these opportunities. It's our obligation to take those opportunities, do something meaningful with it. And unfortunately, the country has been demoralized to the point where people don't necessarily feel that they have the power to do that. And they've been convinced that they're powerless, and they've been convinced that their words don't matter. Well, if your words don't matter, then why do they spend so much time and energy censoring you or suppressing you or making you feel like you're violating political correct language laws that don't really exist, which are honestly just self-censorship weapons that they put into society? So, if your words don't matter and your thoughts don't matter, then why the fuck do they try so hard to get you to not have any? You see what I'm saying? Right. We've got to start being smarter than what they do. And this is not a Democrat or Republican thing. This is an American thing. And that's what I'm trying to do, man. I'm trying to get people kind of corralled back into like, hey man, like we're all good people here. We all want the same things. You didn't do anything to me. I didn't do anything to you. Let's move forward as adults and let's work together to win, and that's the spirit that when I think of America, that's what I think of.
Yeah. And I feel like that message is resonating with so many. It's obviously speaks to the growth of your show, your platforms, etc. Do you have any events coming up on the personal brand side that people can, because I know that you're going to be, a lot of people in Kansas City don't know you as personally as we do. Yeah. And that's where a majority of people listen. And so they're going to be interested. They're going to want to know where they can find you.
So I'm not doing any more entrepreneur speaking events. I'm sort of retiring from that completely. But I am going on tour. So I'm going to be doing my own tour in the back half of 2024. And I'll have that information out within the next, 4 to 6 weeks.
Sweet.
Dates, locations. We're working on building it out right now. So it's going to be a bus tour.
Kansas City?
We haven't decided, but yeah, I'm sure we'll do Kansas City. But yeah, it's going to be a bus tour. We're going to document the whole thing. It's going to be fucking sweet. I can't wait to go do it. And it's going to be based around the show, the RealAF show, where we actually go and do the show live and then do another part of the event, which I'm not going to talk about yet. It's going to be cool.
Awesome,
nice.
dude.
Yeah, so that is awesome.
We're excited, man. Yeah. Excited for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
We've got
you got any other questions?
All my other questions are so random. So I was going to talk about Dave Thomas on here once. Your old neighbor.
Listen, I'll come back on, guys.
Yeah. Okay.
I just wanted to, the last thing that I wanted to say, man, is you truly changed my life, man. You've taught me as much about, business. Everything that I say to my employees, I basically learned from you, and, I'm really thankful for the opportunity you gave me. I'm really thankful for you not allowing me to quit when I wanted to quit and basically making me believe myself, man. So appreciate you coming on the podcast because it's been kind of full circle to actually have you on the podcast since we started this. Yeah. Obviously.
Well, bro, that's mutual too. You got to understand. None of this would exist. First Phorm wouldn't exist. The companies wouldn't exist if it weren't for you guys. That's real shit. So like you guys are OGs, we built all this shit together. And that statement that you made towards me is equally as true from me to you. So just remember that. It's a big deal, man. Bro. Yeah.
Dude,
not Jeff though.
Not Jeff.
I get it. I'm good with these jokes at this point. But I will tell you this.
Jeff has dealt with these jokes long enough that it just bounces off.
I'm like, dude, I get it, man. I was pretty shitty to have working for you. I mean, I made a lot of money for you at one point, but I'm just saying I was a piece of shit to work with.
No, you weren't. I'm just teasing you, bro.
Dude, I was going to say this. You were the first person to teach me to celebrate other people's wins. Yeah. And that is the most fun character trait that I've evolved into, honing and teaching to others now, where it's like, dude, when I see somebody doing well, it has no effect on me. I should be so excited for them. Yeah. And it's like, my God, it's made me a happier person.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see people get promoted. You see people advance in life and dude, just get excited for them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
it's a big deal.
It's weird, man. It's like, I don't know why, the ego thing is being a man growing up and, wanting to win and so forth, but it's like you were the first person to teach me to celebrate other people's wins, and if you don't, you're never going to win. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
got to tell the universe that you love winning all the time.
We could have a whole separate podcast about, visualization specifically and what, dude, this entire headquarters we're sitting in right now, and we were in that meeting.
We didn't even talk about that.
I know.
Yeah, we were like we were the first in the first group of people when you said this, and I'm sure you said it before you said it to us, but yeah, we're sitting in a building that you basically told us was going to happen in 2010, you know, and I'm sure you had talked about it before fucking 2010.
I had this freakish memory of like being able to remember everything that people say. And it's like, sometimes it gets me in trouble, but I will tell you, like I was going to have like a fun, like I got a whole list of like things that you've said over the years that are hilarious. Like, for example, the camo condoms invention that you never have done yet.
SneakyDicks.com.
Sneaky Dicks.
Yeah, you'll never see us coming.
You'll never see us coming. That's the tagline. I have it written down right here. Yeah, dude. I'm like, I was gonna have. Okay. Yeah. Do you have a favorite invention that you've never done that we've been talking about?
In fairness, that was Cody.
It's still a great line.
It was Cody and I collabed on that.
Yeah, we got to give him a shout out. Shout out Cody Klein. Yeah, he's still here.
Which you should
He's
still
downstairs.
do. Yeah. I mean, SneakyDicks.com. Now you have the ability to do it. Yeah, fucking do it.
You'll never see us coming.
Camo condoms. That's what I'm saying, dude. There's a. Do you have any other favorite inventions that you've never actually released?
Dicks is at the top of the list.
Hey, I
forgot about that.
That's great. I got a handful more. Dude, I still have the Muscle Mayhem First Phorm sponsored hotel key from the Kansas City show in 2011. Yeah. I worked it, and I kept the First Phorm hotel key and that awesome Muscle Mayhem logo. Yeah. The best looking logo you've ever seen, the Muscle Mayhem logo.
That was a big deal for us, bro.
Huge.
To get our logo on the
You traveled to that show. Like, I mean, it was a big deal. I brought a Lamborghini picture that I hung up in my hotel room for that show because it was a huge deal. We were fucking, doing this. You sold all of your Lamborghinis. Yeah. Got Ferraris. Yeah. Why?
I had a disagreement with Lamborghini. Yeah.
On the performance of the car, or like how they did service?
Cars are awesome, dude. They, we were sponsoring the race team. I at that time I was one of their youngest customers. I bought a number of cars from them new, and they came out with a new car and they passed me on the allocation, which I thought was a mistake, because I'm like, dude, I sponsor your race team. We just won a world championship. I'm under 40 years old. I bought like 10 cars from you. Like, you're not.
What are you doing?
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, there's other customers that have priority," and I'm like, "Well, then fuck off." And I called.
You also hoard them out quite a bit, didn't they? As far as the amount that they made.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of problems with how they were doing things, but they. I got pissed off, and I mean, you guys know what happens. Like, when I get pissed, bro, I just do shit and
burn it down.
Yeah. So I fucking sold both the cars. I had two at the time, and I sold them both, and I traded them in on two Ferraris. And the truck came with the two Ferraris, and the same truck took the Lamborghinis. And I fucking took a video and I sent it to their CEO. Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, that's the greatest thing ever. I love it.
Oh man,
we both are known to love snacks. Yeah, specifically Quick Trip.
I fucking love snacks. I still got the best wedding gift ever from Jeff.
It's from Kyle too.
And Kyle too.
You just couldn't make it.
So I got my very own, and it's still fucking there, bro. It's still there.
We see it every time.
Yeah. I got my very own Quick Trip taquito roller that is at my farm, in our bar at the farm, that I use to this day because I love Quick Trip taquitos.
I was going to say, what's your Mount Rushmore of snacks from Quick Trip?
Fucking taquitos, bro.
I was going to say, if I know you, Red Hot Riplets would also make it on
Red
this
Hot
Mount
Riplets
Rushmore.
are good. My ultimate stack from Quick Trip is 4 taquitos.
Chicken?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flour tortilla.
Chipotle sauce?
Once in a while, I'll put the corn tortilla, one of them in there just for a little extra. Then I get a breakfast burrito if they got them, okay? Because they got good breakfast burritos.
Now they're tacos. Sad. Yeah. We'll talk about it later.
Well, now they got pizza. Pizza's pretty good.
It is.
But my ultimate stack back in the day when I was super fat was 4 taquitos, 2 Long Johns, and a bag of jalapeno kettle cooked chips.
I'm in on the Long Johns.
The Long J's
yeah,
on there.
Fucking chocolate.
The real question is how many are you eating before you leave Quick Trip? Because Jeff is at least 2 or 3 before he leaves fucking Quick Trip.
I took 4 home. I ate 2 there.
Yeah, you always got to have a couple there because you can't dip while you're driving.
No, dude, I didn't want to eat all that in front of Emily.
Hey, recently we lost our college bars, Boogie and Zan.
No shit.
We lost them.
Boogie closed?
They're both closed.
Really?
Overnight.
Dude.
Last like couple weeks ago.
I was about to say,
really?
It's last of a generation.
I think there might just be like piano bar left or something. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Digs?
Chris was just down there for the opening of Springfield East, and he said it's just like a different city down there. But I was going to ask, you have a favorite memory from Jordan Creek, which was by far the best bar I've ever been to in my life.
The greatest bar
hands
ever.
down.
Yeah.
Best bar I've ever been to.
Man, There's so many good memories from that era. Like
you had a hot tub above.
I was about to say, I want to know how you got a hot tub.
There was a apartment above the bar, and at one point, Chris and Andy lived there, and there was a hot tub up there.
Yeah.
Nothing but rated G things.
We had to pulley it up. We had to rent. So there's a cargo. It used to be a grocery warehouse, and we had to rent this industrial like pulley to fucking hoist it up, bro. I'm surprised any of us lived.
If anybody knows what the building looked like that Jordan Creek was in, like I wouldn't have thought, let's put a hot tub up there. I would have thought it was going through the fucking floor.
But I mean, dude, our thought was like it was a grain grocery warehouse. I mean, fuck, they stacked that thing to the ceiling. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Like it had to hold.
True. That's true.
But dude, I'm telling you, man, like people used to walk over that cargo door like it was no big deal. I never walked on that thing, man. That thing scared the shit out of me. Yeah, but I had a lot of good memories there, man. I mean, way too many to narrow just one down. I mean, I had so many good friendships and such good time, and you know, I think going through that hard part of business and then also having that to like as my
blow off steam.
Yeah, bro, it made it fun. It was fun. There was always shit going on, and I'm still friends with a lot of the people that I was friends with back then. And it was cool, man. I miss Springfield a lot. I love Springfield.
Yeah.
It's a special place in all of our hearts for sure.
For sure.
We got to do a patronage back there one
always
time.
Talk about
Just one trip before
you mean a
there's
pilgrimage?
Pilgrimage, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm looking for like a night where
we got to take a pilgrimage to patronize.
That's right. Yeah. Well, there's
nothing to patronize
left.
anymore.
There's nothing left. I'm like, we just need to go.
Shut down.
We go to homecoming football game, and now they can drink on campus, which is cool. Yeah, people are tailgating on campus.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. We usually ask a question at the end of one of our podcasts where we ask where they would select the best barbecue in Kansas City is, because that's what they're known for. Here, I know that, you know, you've been a pizza aficionado and a French fry aficionado your whole life. Would you take Emo's Pizza over any other pizza?
I love Emo's. I know like a lot of the national critics don't get it and people that aren't from here don't get it. I think it's fucking amazing. I would say they're the best like delivery pizza for sure.
Mm-hmm. And it's so good the next day too.
Bro, yeah.
They kill it on the leftover side too.
But dine-in, fuck, dude. My two favorite dine-in pizza places in St. Louis are Antonino's.
Never been.
Yeah, it's on the hill. It's a Greek Italian.
Told you.
Awesome
shut the fuck up, Luke.
What? What?
I told him about the hill.
Oh yeah, Antonino's. Their fucking pizza's phenomenal. And then also Billy G's. I like Billy G's pizza, and they're totally two different kinds of pizza. Yeah. You know,
we told him what your two favorite restaurants were, and he said Antonino's, and I said Billy G's.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Twisted Tree's up there too, but they don't have pizza. Yeah.
So he said, if we go steakhouse, he's gonna say Twisted Tree.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, Andy knows he likes what he likes.
I like
easiest person to buy a present for.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Yeah.
I do. I go to the same couple places. I'm due for a visit to Antonino's. It's been a while, but
you 75 hard right now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What day?
Like 17.
Damn.
Yeah.
Been a minute. It'll be a minute. It'll be there. It'll be waiting for you.
Yeah. Whatever day it is. I finished the day before Summer Smash that Friday. Yeah.
Did you guys announce the date?
It's June 1st.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Balling. All right, man. I got nothing else.
Yeah, man.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you for coming on,
it's
man.
good to see you guys.
100th episode, man.
100th
I figured
episode.
this was the best
we appreciate
way to do
you.
it,
We love you,
yeah.
man. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Love you too, guys. Both of you. We'll do it again.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah,
we'll do it again soon.
We'll do 200.
Yeah, 200.
All about it.
All right, I'm in on that.
I'm in.
Cool, buddy.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you, man.
Thanks, guys.